Fox is freaking out. Their hosts are losing it. They know that people are pissed. Not just Democrats, Republicans, independents are livid at Donald Trump, Elon Musk, this Doge crew that are gutting the government, taking people's private information, tax records, social security information, medical records. You have the Trump regime cozying up to Vladimir Putin, joining an axis of evil of Russia, North Korea, Belarus, and Hungary to oppose a United Nations resolution condemning Russia for the unlawful invasion of Ukraine. The unfathomable is here, but Fox's American state regime media, they got to churn that propaganda machine. So let me tell you what they're doing. So Laura Ingraham doubles down on her attacks of federal workers. She calls federal workers lazy. She says federal workers are just trying to gin up sympathy, and she says they need to get, quote, real jobs. This is Laura Ingraham from State Regime Media Fox. Let's play it.
Now, how do you resurrect your party, though? By protecting red tape and the bureaucracy, by trying to gin up sympathy for federal workers who need to get real jobs in the real world like most of America. Ever heard of it? Now, do Democrats really think that Americans will stop liking Trump because he fires these people?
Ooh, how despicable. Hey, Laura, maybe you need to get a real job. You are a propagandist spreading lies and hate. You are the one who needs a real job. Then you have Kayleigh McEnany, Donald Trump's former press secretary. He or she tries to justify why the Trump regime is siding with Putin and North Korea to oppose the United Nations resolution condemning Russia. She goes, oh, it's just brilliant negotiation tactics to show how weak you are and to cozy up to dictators. Seriously? This is what you're telling your audience? Here, play this clip.
Might be some strategy to that. I do think there's a, quote, method to the madness of, buttering up a dictator who very much enjoys that to then find some sort of deal that is friendlier on your terms than maybe it would have been.
Yes, I think.
It's so utterly pathetic. And then here you have Ainsley Earhart, who I think is Sean Hannity's fiance. I forget how many times Hannity's been married now. The Family Values Party over there at Fox, they all have relationships with each other, at work. But here's Ainsley Earhart. I don't even know what she's talking about here. I think she's saying the most important issue Americans care about is transgender volleyball players. And she's like, it only has 30% support. It has 30% support? Basically everything that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing, and that support is even sinking. Americans by like 85, 90% don't support giving pardons to violent January 6th insurrectionists. By like 90%, Americans don't support allying with Vladimir Putin. They don't support cuts to Medicaid or Social Security or $3 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires while you cut $800 billion plus in Medicaid. But here's Sean Hannity's fiance, Ainsley Earhart. Play this clip.
If she wants to choose to die on this hill, let her. That's what Sean Hannity always says. We were talking about dying on the hill. It's a great term to describe what's happening here in the Democratic Party. Why would you ever, from a political standpoint, support something that only 30% of your constituents are supporting? That just is not common sense. That's not.
And then Fox can't even figure out the identities of like the female senators who are Democrats. As Senator Tina Smith from Minnesota says, you're showing a photo of Tammy Baldwin, who's the senator from Wisconsin, not me. You can keep track of all of the hundreds of white men, but it's the 28 women in the Senate that trips you up, Fox News. Well, all of that's taking place. You have the press room in the White House, which has all of these poster boards that say victory, Gulf of America, where Gulf of Mexico is. And as Americans are suffering, as Americans are being dehumanized by Elon Musk and Donald Trump, as they're taking away freedoms and rights, as Elon Musk is giving full access to all of your data with 19 to 25-year-old guys who call themselves big balls. You have the Trump saying victory. By the way, another horrible day for NASDAQ. 401ks are in the gutter right now. When they were up under former President Biden, now they're going down each day. They're declaring victory because of Gulf of America. You've got Donald Trump talking about finding gold in Fort Knox. It's the most ridiculous stuff. Then on the Jesse Waters show, I think Jesse Waters ended up divorcing his wife to marry someone who worked at Fox also. He then has Alina Habba on, and Alina Habba again attacks federal workers over here. Here she is saying, basically accusing federal workers of defrauding the government by having multiple jobs and not really working hard. Here, play this clip.
We're here to be accountable.
What do you think the mentality is? That they get mad when the boss asks them what they did last week, or they just refuse to even reply to the email?
Yeah, so it's like gaslighting, when you ask somebody if they've done something and then all they say is, why did you ask? You must be attacking me.
Yeah,
that's pretty
bullying.
much what's happening. Bullying me, yeah. No, it's called doing your job. If you get paid, you have to do your job. And I'll be honest with you, here in the White House, nobody really had an issue with it. We're all so busy. I think that the American people know we're working hard. But if you are taking another job, if you are pretending to work from home, but you're not actually working, and American taxpayers are paying for it, you better be damn sure that President Trump's going to figure it out. Doge is going to cut the waste, cut the fat, and you no longer have a job here. They definitely should have taken that paycheck when they were offering it to them for October.
These Trumpers are some of just the most evil, mean people. The constant attacks on federal workers and treating them like pieces of crap. Again, these are hardworking people. And there's, by the way, in the federal government, there were so many veterans who worked in the federal government, spouses of people in the armed services, disabled veterans, and just hardworking Americans who did jobs that don't get a lot of attention, that don't make the media, but they're doing things to keep Americans safe every single day, working in these various government departments and sometimes thankless jobs. And now they're being treated like absolute crap. So, by the way, here is the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. She's got to go on state regime media because, again, they got to pump out the propaganda quickly. And here she goes, look, we're the most transparent that there is. Every day Trump invites journalists in. Don't worry that we may ban the Associated Press because they call the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Mexico. We're doing this the right way. Here, play this clip.
Commander-in-Chief. Nearly every single day, President Trump invites journalists into the Oval Office and gives them the facts and the truth because he has that on his side. And
I'm going to show you and just fact check one of her lies right now as well. I could basically go every word she says and fact check it. But something that happened yesterday was the federal judge in Washington, D.C., Judge McFadden, he denied a temporary restraining order request by the Associated Press. And the Associated Press demanded that they be allowed to immediately return to the White House press pool. But what the judge says is, look, these are important issues. I don't want to rule on an emergency basis. But he warns the Trump administration that the case law in D.C. is against Trump, that Trump will likely lose if the policy doesn't change voluntarily. So the judge says to the Trump lawyers, the DOJ lawyers, it might be a good idea to adjust your policy before the next hearing because I'm inclined to rule against you. I'm just not going to rule against you on an emergency basis. We'll do a full hearing on this, but change your policy. So then Fox said that's a win. So then Fox goes on, Caroline Leavitt goes on Fox and says, the winning continues. Another big win in federal court because they keep on losing all of these TROs. This is what they're trying to sell their viewers is a win. Play this clip.
the winning continues here at the White House every day. Today, a federal judge right here in Washington, D.C. denied the Associated Press's emergency request for a temporary restraining order to restore their privilege of returning to the White House press pool. And the judge's denial of the Associated Press's request reinforces what I said from the podium last week and what President Trump has been saying. Covering the American presidency in the most intimate and limited spaces in this White House, in the Oval Office, on the Air Force One, is a privilege. It is not a legal right. And we want all voices to have that opportunity. And that's why we've expanded the James S. Brady briefing room to invite truly legitimate, independent journalists podcasters, and other media types into that room to cover this president with honesty and accuracy and with real mindfulness of what the American people actually care about.
Unfortunately, Jessica Tarlov is still on Fox, the only rational pro-democracy voice on the network. You know she always comes with receipts on the 5. Here, watch her over here.
Then explain how people are parading around these massive numbers, and the numbers are actually a lot smaller. And when what really matters in all of this, and the Democrats are hammering it, is that in the bill that the Republicans are putting forward, there will be $880 billion cut to Medicaid. And you see Republicans all over the country. And no, Jesse, these are not plants that are showing up at their town halls.
I never said that.
But you were thinking
about
that.
Okay, so I headed you off. They were actually people who worked at the CDC in Rich McCormick's district. But people are showing up in Oklahoma, in Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Wisconsin, and they're saying what's going on at Doge is unacceptable. And are you kidding me with these Medicaid cuts?
Now
well,
you guys listen to the voters?
Trillions of dollars.
It's like the first time you listen to the voters, Jessica.
We are trying.
So is Jessica saying that we're not cutting enough? That's the argument?
I think what she's saying is that we should really just cut like maybe double it.
Now back to Caroline Leavitt, Trump's chief propagandist, who they call his press secretary. Here's what she says about the Keystone Pipeline. Play this clip.
He is inviting them back. We want the Keystone XL pipeline built. He wants a pipeline built in the Northeast, in New England, where I am from, where we have some of the highest electricity and utility rates in the country. This is a president who is constantly thinking about how he can help the American people.
And folks, America was energy independent under former President Biden. You know, drill, baby, drill. There was more drilling under former President Biden than under Donald Trump by significant amounts. America was energy independent, the most drilling ever, and we cared about climate change under former President Biden as well. And we're building all of these green projects that were giving jobs in red states. But now, you know, MAGA's got to talk about, we're going to search for gold in Fort Knox, and we're going to be doing this, and all their slogans. That's just a bunch of BS. Speaking of which, here's Alina Habba one more time, and here she again attacks federal workers. Let's play it.
No games. We are all together working hard, and I have heard it. Look, you have people crying, people protesting. If you're wasting American taxpayer dollars to sit outside and hold a beer can or complain about Elon Musk, I have a question for you. What are you actually doing for your constituents, the people that voted for you in? Because you're not serving America. So all of that, all the woke stuff, the DEI stuff, the woman that you just showed that got 20 million, there won't be any of that in this administration. It's just not tolerated.
All right, well.
Finally, I want to share this clip with you. It's not Fox, but it's on CNN. It's a follow-up to one of the things that we covered yesterday. And this is the MAGA Republican Congress member Alford, who held that town hall event where his constituents, many Republicans, were just pissed at him for allowing Elon to basically destroy our government. And here he basically says that He says that these actually weren't his constituents. He says they're agitators and they're fake. That's what they're going with. It's all fake. Here, play this clip.
Have discussions. This was brought about outside agitators and some people from outside our district, not our constituents, who came there to make their voices heard. And I respect that. They have every right to be there. We did not prohibit them, even though they did not live in our district. But I really wanted to hear from our constituents. That's who sent me to Congress, and that's who I owe really my service to. And they were not really able to be heard. Some of them were there who had worked for the IRS and were getting laid off in Kansas City. And I really wanted to hear their concerns, and let's work together about how can we find you the next job. There are thousands of jobs, 175,000 jobs right now available in Missouri.
You say outside agitators. Are you saying that none of them were your constituents that were there?
No. Some were. Let me make that very clear. Some were our constituents. They clearly were not aligned with my way of thinking, and they did not vote for Trump. But that's okay. I wanted to hear from them.
Yeah, as you said, you represent Democrats as well, and you are the elected.
I mean, so utterly pathetic. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thank you for watching.